Sigmund Freud never completed an outline of psychoanalysis. Freud began writing in Vienna in 1938 as he was waiting to leave for London. By September 1938, he had written 3/4 of the book. Professor Kakar, born in the same year, 1938, has perhaps taken forward Freud's unfinished manuscript of an outline of psychoanalysis. Building on the uncanny map of the Indian psyche, and there is no Indian psyche perhaps that is unilinear. There is perhaps no one Indian psyche. Building on the multiplicity, on the complexity, on the non-oneness of the Indian psyche, but building on it nevertheless. Building on the non-Western cultural imagination. And again, there is no one non-West. Building on cultural imaginations emanating from the global South. Building on non-Oedipal or an-Oedipal myths. Building on real clinical experiences and specificities of analysms in the non-West and the global South. Professor Kakar has gifted to the international psychoanalytic community an Indian outline of psychoanalysis. Not Indian in a simple sense, not Indian in a nationalist sense, not Indian in a local sense, not Indian against Europe or the West in a reactive sense. It's not an unthinking, clinging Indian particularism. It just builds on the Indian as an archive and tries to see what emerges, emanates, what is birthed out of that archive. In that sense, Professor Kakar, just like Girindra Shekhar Bose, is not talking merely of a logic of the Indian psyche. And is not trying to tell the West, oh, the Indian psyche is different. The Indian psyche is like this. These are the specificities of the Indian psyche. No, not just that. That is, of course, the ground, the base, the nursery bed of the Greek creation of psychoanalysis. But it's trying to tell the West, this is the Indian logic of the psyche. This distinction is crucial. The logic of the Indian psyche, which is about Indian particularities, and the Indian logic of the psyche, the Indian outline of the psyche, the Indian outline of psychoanalysis, the Indian outline of the unconscious. An Indian outline that would be further enriched, constantly renewed, reinvigorated by analogous outlines from Iran, Japan, China, Algeria, South Africa, Brazil, Argentina, and multiple such civilizational and cultural crucibles. Such a multiplicity of outlines would birth, Professor Kakar felt, a global outline of psychoanalysis, a shared outline of psychoanalysis, an outline that would have in it a constitutive and originary multiplicity. Not one, but many, multiple. Multiple in conversation, in infinite, unending conversation. A global outline of psychoanalysis as against the now universalized outline of psychoanalysis, the Western outline of psychoanalysis.